With the NBA trade deadline getting closer and closer, if any other big trades are going to happen this season, they're going to happen soon. And while nothing will top the James Harden trade, there are still some big moves that could happen. With players like Beal, Levine, and Drummond all on the market, one team that I think will have to make a trade to reach the next level, as much as I hate to admit it, is the Denver Nuggets. I know I've made a lot of videos relating to the Nuggets recently, but I think a trade with the Nuggets could just be very interesting. Plus, if you have any video suggestions, leave a comment. And as always, if you like this video, leave a like. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing, and let's get right into it. After barely missing the playoffs in 2018, the young talent on the Nuggets looked very promising. And after winning 54 games in 2019 and getting the second seed, along with being one of the youngest teams in the league, the future seemed very bright. Now while they did make it farther in the playoffs in the 2020 season, they were the third seed and the improvements were minimal compared to the previous years. But so far this season, even with Nikola Jokic having his best season by far, the team has been underwhelming as a whole. Being a Nuggets fan myself, at first I just wanted to write it off and say that they'd get better, but there are some glaring issues that just can't be ignored. The trend to fold in the third quarter is inexcusable. I've already mentioned it before, but I've noticed it for more than a year now. Initially, it would seem weird as to why that would happen, given that they have a pretty deep roster, but the real issue is Murray. Not that Murray is inherently a problem, but your second best player just can't be that inconsistent. We've seen what he's capable in the playoffs, but he's gotten too many chances. He's a solid contributor, but just can't take the responsibility of being the second best player for a competitive team. At his best, he's incredible, but that doesn't happen enough to excuse his inconsistency. I'm generally very skeptical when it comes to trading for a star player, and I'm still not completely sure if the Nuggets should go for it. But given it seems like they've already hit their ceiling, and Jokic is already 25, the right star player could be exactly what they need to compete. Now while I do believe Murray does cause problems, Denver has the assets to get a new star player without trading him. I do think as the third best player on the team, he will cause a lot less issues. The position in most need of help is the wing, generally starting Harris and Barton. Barton is solid but nothing special, but Gary Harris. I always wanted to trust Harris given that I've seen his potential, but he's fallen off a cliff since the 2017 season. His defense is great, but his offense is atrocious. He would be a solid bench contributor for any team, but he just doesn't have the skill set to start on a good team. And now that it's been multiple years since he had a real good season, my faith in him has been shaken enough that I'm ready to move on. But with Harris combined with some first round picks and young assets like PJ Dozier and even Bol, the Nuggets have the assets to obtain a star. But who would be the best choice? The option that seems to be most popular online is Bradley Beal. Beal is leading the NBA in points per game with about 33. He's proven his value and needs to get out of Washington. He fits the positional needs of the team and will be a good scorer to take passes from Jokic. He's an elite scorer and has the consistency that Murray doesn't have. There's just one issue. He's a bad defender. Simple as that. And while that isn't necessarily bad, having both backcourt players be subpar defensively is bound to cause issues. For proof, just look to the Nets. The Nuggets will always put Harris on the best backcourt player, but with Beal as the two guard, who would be guarding Steph Curry or Damian Lillard? The Nuggets would likely get better with Beal, but come playoff time, they'd be in serious trouble. That's why I think they need to trade for a good defender, and there's one guy who just might be perfect. The Heat this year have been disappointing, considering just last season they made the finals. With young players like Bam Adebayo, they have a bright future. But their star player Jimmy Butler can only be their best player for so long. Butler isn't explicitly in the trade market, but the Heat may be looking to trade him if they can get more future assets in exchange. Butler is an even better defender than Harris, but is also a solid scorer and has the clutch gene that the Nuggets need. If he is at all in the market, the Nuggets could make a trade for him without giving up too much. Bol, as much as I love him, is being wasted in Denver, and could be a highly valuable asset in a trade. Jimmy Butler would bring defense and consistency they need. He's shown to be capable of being the best player on a finals team, so he could easily be the second best player on a contender. With another consistent star with great defense, The third quarter runs teams make against the Nuggets would be greatly reduced or even stopped. The Nuggets roster has a hardworking nature that Butler would appreciate, and if there is somehow a way that a trade could be made for him, it would be possibly the best move Denver could make. But what do you think the Nuggets need to do to make the next step? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you like this video, leave a like. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.